Picture this. The power goes out. No warning, no explanation, just darkness. You reach for your phone to search, when will the power come back on? Only to realize there's no signal, no internet, no way to get answers. You step outside, and your entire neighborhood is dark. The silence is unsettling. What if the power went out and never came back on? No electricity, no running water, no grocery stores, and no emergency services. The comforts of modern life are gone, and all you have is you, and the skills you have or don't have to survive. The question is, are you prepared? When everything is stripped away, survival comes down to 4 essential pillars. Without them, your chances of making it drop fast. Welcome back to Prepare for SHTF. In today's video, we're diving into a scenario that most people don't want to think about, but one that could happen at any time. A long-term grid-down event would change life as we know it in an instant. If you're not prepared, survival becomes a struggle. Before we get into how to prepare, make sure to watch until the end, because we'll be announcing the winner of our February giveaway. You won't want to miss it. And while you're here, give this video a like and hit subscribe, stay ahead of the curve, and start learning life-saving survival skills now. All right, let's break down the 4 essential pillars of survival, because when the grid fails, these are the things that will keep you alive. Pillar number 1, water. Without water, survival is a ticking clock. The human body can last only about 3 days without it, but dehydration weakens your body and clouds your judgment long before that. In a grid-down scenario, access to clean drinking water becomes your most immediate concern. If the taps stop running, do you know where to find water? More importantly, do you know how to make it safe to drink? Water exists all around us, but just because you've found it doesn't mean it's safe. Even clear, flowing water can contain bacteria, parasites, and viruses that cause serious illness. Purification is non-negotiable. Boiling is the most effective method. Bringing water to a rolling boil for at least 1 minute kills most harmful organisms. But what if you can't start a fire due to security concerns or lack of materials? In that case, filtration is another way to make water safe. Survival water filters, like Sawyer, LifeStraw, or a homemade system with layers of sand, charcoal, and cloth, can remove harmful biological organisms and even certain chemicals like chlorine. Rainwater is one of the safest natural sources and can be collected using a tarp, plastic sheeting, or large containers. Morning dew can be gathered by wiping grass or leaves with a cloth. Snow and ice are also viable options, but they should always be melted before drinking. Eating snow directly lowers body temperature and speeds up dehydration. Nature also provides clues to nearby water sources. Lush green vegetation, swarming insects, and animal tracks often indicate that water is close. When the grid fails, clean water isn't just a convenience, it's survival. Know where to find it, know how to purify it, and never take it for granted, because without water, nothing else matters. Pillar number 2, food. You can survive for weeks without food, but after just a few days, the effects of hunger set in. Your energy drops, your thinking slows. In a survival situation, food isn't just about staying full, it's about keeping your body and mind strong enough to make the right decisions. When the grid is down, grocery stores will be emptied within hours. So where will your next meal come from? Foraging is a valuable skill, but not everything in nature is safe to eat. Learn to identify edible plants, berries, and nuts now, before disaster strikes. Keep a field guide or offline app as a backup. Hunting and trapping can provide protein, but they take practice. Even a simple snare can catch small game if set correctly. Fishing is another option. Improvised lines and spear fishing require little equipment, but patience and skill. Stockpiling non-perishable foods like rice, beans, canned goods, and freeze-dried meals gives you a safety net. But when supplies run low, food preservation becomes critical. Smoking, drying, and fermenting meats and vegetables extend shelf life and prevent waste. If you don't know how, now is the time to learn. Warning: eating the wrong thing can be deadlier than not eating at all. If you're unsure, don't risk it. When the food supply collapses, knowing how to find, catch, and preserve food isn't optional. It's survival. But these skills take time to master, and the time to start is now. Waiting until you're starving to learn them is too late. Pillar number 3, shelter. Your home will be your primary shelter when disaster strikes, but staying put isn't always the safest option. In a prolonged grid-down event, densely populated areas become dangerous. Desperate people will do desperate things. If supplies run low and chaos sets in, staying away from large groups and remaining unnoticed may be the smarter move. That's why it's critical to have a bug-out plan and know when it's time to leave. If you haven't already, check out our video on bug in or bug out, where we break down the pros and cons of each option and provide a step-by-step decision tool to help you determine the best strategy for your situation. If you have to bug out, your first priority should be reaching your bug out location, if you have one. A well-stocked, pre-planned location away from urban chaos can mean the difference between safety and danger. Do you have a relative or close friend outside the city where you could go? What about a remote property, a hunting cabin, or even a campsite you've scouted in advance? If you don't have a place in mind, it's time to find one, before you need it. If you don't have a designated bug-out location, you may need to take shelter in the wild. Your priority is finding a safe spot. Look for high, dry ground away from flood zones, falling debris, and heavily populated areas. Avoid low-lying areas where cold air settles, and steer clear of insect-infested zones. Ideally, choose a site near water and natural resources like firewood and wild food sources. Once you've found a safe location, the type of shelter you build depends on what's available. A lean-to provides quick cover using branches and a tarp or debris. If you're in a snowy environment, a snow cave traps body heat and shields you from the wind. If you have a tent, great, but knowing how to build an emergency shelter from natural materials is a skill you need to develop now. Your home is your first line of defense, but if the situation becomes too dangerous, knowing where to shelter elsewhere could save your life. Bugging out in the wild should be your last resort option. In a grid-down scenario, will you be ready to protect yourself from the elements? Pillar number 4, fire. Fire isn't just about comfort, it's a lifeline. It provides warmth, cooks food, purifies water, and keeps predators at bay. Fire is essential, especially in cold weather, where hypothermia can set quickly, even in temperatures as mild as 50 degrees Fahrenheit if wet and exposed. Knowing multiple fire-starting methods is critical. Ferro rods, flint and steel, a battery with steel wool, or primitive friction techniques like a bow drill can all be life-saving when modern tools aren't available. Fire needs heat, fuel, and oxygen, so having dry tinder like leaves, bark, or cotton balls soaked in petroleum jelly can make ignition easier. However, fire isn't always an option. An open flame can make you visible from miles away, especially at night, and smoke can alert others to your location. If security is a concern, staying warm without fire is just as important. Layering clothing, using natural insulation like dry leaves, staying dry, and huddling for body heat can help retain warmth when fire isn't safe. Fire is one of the greatest survival tools, but it's a skill, not a guarantee. If you haven't practiced starting a fire without modern tools, now is the time. Because when the grid goes down, warmth isn't just a luxury, it's survival. And here we go. We've just covered the 4 pillars of survival: water, food, shelter, and warmth. These are the absolute essentials that will determine whether you thrive or struggle in a grid-down scenario. But knowing them isn't enough. You need to start practicing now while you still have time. If you wait until disaster strikes, it's already too late. Start building your skills, stocking supplies, and planning your strategy now. Which of the 4 pillars do you feel most prepared for, and which one do you need to work on? Leave a comment below and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss our next video. And now, the moment you've been waiting for. It's time to announce the winner of our February giveaway. Leroy816, congratulations. To claim your prize, click the special link in the description and fill out the form. We'll reach out with the next steps. As always, stay ready, stay safe, and we'll see you in the next video.